Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, with me Shail Bhatnagar, and this is the earnings special edition. Our focus will be on Anand Rathi Wealth Limited that's reported its Q1 FY25 earnings, a consolidated net profit of 73 crores for the April to June quarter. This is an increase of 38% on a year-on-year basis. The total revenues of 245 odd crore rupees, again a 38% year-on-year uptick as well. We're now joined by the top management of the company to detail for us the key highlights as well as the outlook going forward. The stock markets are cheering it already, and the stock is up 4% after the Q1 results. Let's welcome Mr. Anand Rathi himself, the chairman of Anand Rathi Group itself. With us also joining in is Mr. Rakesh Rawal. He's the chief executive officer of the Anand Rathi Group. A warm welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for taking the time out. And yet again, congratulations for another stellar set of earnings that are coming in from your fold. Mr. Rathi, let me begin by understanding from you. You know, over the last many quarters that we've been discussing your earnings, consistently you've beaten your own guidance, and you've maintained that 20-25% growth rate. How are you looking at FY25? Do you think you will be able to even do better than FY24? And any further guidance that you can give as an upgrade to what you've seen so far?
Sakshi, first of all, thanks for covering us so well. You know, our philosophy is that once we give the guidance for the year, we want to start really fast in the first quarter itself. And that's why if you see historically last all the years, our first quarter has always been able to get more than 25% of the annual target. Yeah. Well, of course, we wish that, yes, we'll cross the target which we've given, but perhaps this is too early to see the revision in the target. We would like to wait for another quarter to end. And I think if indications are good, we'll be very happy. Last year, we also revised it. And fortunately, we even achieved more than our revised target. We have been a little conservative, as you know. Our nature is that, work hard, give the target, which surely people have trust in us, that once we give the target, we will be able to really achieve it and surpass it.
Namaste to both gentlemen, Mr. Anand Rathi and Mr. Rawal. It is indeed a pleasure to host the veterans of Dalal Street, in particular Mr. Rathi. I'm sure this is his 45th year in the market, and he's going stronger than ever. So Anandji, with that background in mind, let's discuss your quarterly performance. Please tell us, what is the size of the AUM that is now managed by Anand Rathi Wealth? What is the number of ultra HNIs that have risen both organically, and how many have you added in the last quarter?
Yeah, as you've seen, we have moved to 69,000 crores from 59,000 crores last quarter. So we moved almost about 10,000 crores AUM. Out of that, if you have given the numbers of new inflow, is about 3,500 crores. So about 6,000 crores has come from the market movement, and 3,400 crores has come from the new inflow. What I'm happy to tell you is that new inflow is really almost 2.8 times than we had last year, same quarter. So I think our focus is to see more and more inflow from our clients, and that will really be long-term advantageous. That growth in AUM will going to give returns, obviously, for future.
Okay, let's get Mr. Rawal into the conversation. Rakeshji, I just wanted to understand, when you look at the quarterly performance, how much of this new growth is coming in from smaller towns, tier 3, tier 4 cities, and how much from metros? We are seeing 40,000 crore rupees coming into mutual funds in the month of July. SIPs have gone up dramatically above 21,000. All of this is benefiting companies like you, which are in financialization of assets. What has been your learning in the past quarter?
Well, like most wealth management setups, it always starts from the big towns. And therefore, since they have the advantage of time with them, bulk of our business today also is from big towns. However, there are lots of green shoots that we've already planted and will continue to plant more, which will, to our mind, take financializations to various parts of the country, and the proportions will keep increasing with time. So at this point in time, we have about 6 or 7 centers which are in the tier 2 cities. With time, they will grow and become large, and we'll add more. So bulk of our business today is from big towns.
Okay. Mr. Anand Rathi, with respect to your AUM guidance now, going forward from here, you're already at 70,000. By when do you see that 1 lakh crore rupee mark hitting? I'm sure it will be much ahead than your own expectations, even if you say a number, because that's what you are famous for. And the other part will be, the contribution of the equity mutual funds, which has now risen to about 54%. Where do you see it rising further?
Yeah. So I think number one, first question to say that we expect about 25% normally growth in our AUM, out of which we expect about 10 to 12%, half of it to come from the market and half of it to come from our own new inflows. But as you say, I think we'll be very happy to get 1 lakh mark as quickly as possible. But I won't be able to predict it today because markets are not predictable in a way at a point of time. But yes, over a period of time, we have seen our past growth. We have always achieved our AUM growth of 20% plus year after year. And that's what we are telling, that 20 to 25% growth we can see for many more years to come. And the market situation will change year by year. But I think in spite of that, I think we should be able to get to 1 lakh mark pretty quickly. As far as second question is concerned, yes, our focus is that we must increase the inflow from the mutual funds because that's a great trail income. And we have increased in last 1 year from 48% to 54%. The focus is there. Our inflow from mutual fund itself is this year, if you're given the number, is about 2,300 crores or so. So I think focus is that people are now with our education to our clients, continuous education. We tell people that don't look at the market. Okay, if you are a long-term investor, continue to invest as you have the funds. Don't try to time the market. And that's one reason that in spite of the markets being so high in last quarter, we have been able to have excellent amount of inflow from our clients. And that too also in mutual funds.
Okay. Mr. Rawal, I'll come to you now. You were talking about the HNIs and I will just continue with that portion. We do know that the wealth management companies have performed very well with the rise in the number of HNIs in the country. All over FY24. We've actually seen the markets also supporting the sentiments. But do you see any signs of moderation with the conversations around markets that maybe a peak may be near or something? Or do you think we will have continued momentum within the HNI growth in India?
Well, the point is that HNIs are being added to the economy because of various reasons. Whether they're doing better jobs or businesses and so on and so forth. So there is one thing which is that the bucket is being filled by HNIs. What do we have? We have just about 10,000, HNIs that we are covering. And the number, runs into several lakhs, increasing. So is there a potential for us to grow? There is, unlimited potential for us to grow. And that's not sort of dependent on a market condition or B market condition. It is how dear is the 14-15% return objective to the client or to these HNIs. If we retain that and if we feel that the market is happy to get 14-15% return, the strategy will keep working and we'll keep adding business. Given that there is closer to 760 lakh crores of assets, household assets, I won't even say that we are scraping the surface. We are a small atom on that surface. And therefore, the potential is as much as we can grab rather than the market being constrained.
Okay. Rakeshji, let's look at the cost side of your balance sheet and P&L account. Typically, this is a people-intensive business where you need newer relationship managers to join. What has been the increase in staff strength, and have you faced a potential rise in salary costs quarter on quarter and year on year?
Well, the main our people cost is in the range of 43-44%, and that's more or less been the mark for a long period of time, and I expect that to be in that range going forward as well. Yeah. So I don't see a increase in cost. And the main reason for that is that our relationship managers' emoluments are formula linked. Yeah. So the more business they do, they get higher emoluments, right? And so it's not that they get disproportionately higher or lower. And as you grow, you get some operating leverages, which you can use to invest in new people, right? And with that, we are able to maintain this ratio, and we are confident that we'll be able to maintain in that range the ratio in years to come. We've added, I think, in the last 1 year, close to 50 odd relationship managers. And we hope to keep adding good quantity of relationship managers going forward.
Okay, fair point. Mr. Rathi, this question is for you. Active client families now exceed 10,380. They were about 8,700 a year ago. Where is, in terms of profit and revenue, the maximum amount of percentage coming in? Is it ultra HNIs? Is it HNIs, or is it people who invest less than 5 crore rupees within Anand Rathi?
I think, as you know, our basic philosophy is aimed at the client from 5 to 50 crores investment potential. Not that we want them to give 5 crores to begin with, but so our largest amount of revenue comes from the segment 5 to 50 crores. Now, more than 50 crores, we consider them UHNI, and that's not the target which we really market to. But yes, over a period of time, in last 10, 15 years, many people who joined us as HNI have become now ultra HNIs, and they continue to be with us. So I think a good part is that, our client, attrition is less than 1% in terms of a year, every year. And therefore, I think there's a big amount of satisfaction of clients. So as far as lower is concerned, I said that's not our target segment. So we do start even with a lower amount of, let's say, 1 crore. But the potential, we start with the balance sheet of our client. And we see if there's an investable fund is about 5 crores plus, then we would like to, have those people as our client. The smaller clients actually are serviced by other parts, other businesses, retail. We have separate retail company, but this company primarily concentrates on HNIs of 5 to 50 crores.
Okay. Mr. Rawal, let me come to you with a question on the contribution on digital wealth that you are seeing within the entire basket of revenues. It has been consistently growing. Where do you see the pie headed as a contribution from this segment by the end of FY25 and maybe next 1 or 2 years more?
Well, digital wealth continues to be, so we've moved away from losing money to shall we say, break even with, say, a marginal profit. I think at this point in time, we are still working through this business. And as and when we are able to get some larger breakthroughs, then I suppose the contribution will significantly go up. But at this point in time, we don't sort of factor too much of growth here. In terms of the 20-25% guidance or sense of business increase that we are expecting in the years to come. That is significantly going to come from our main flagship business.
Okay. Mr. Rathi, let me come to you and now with a broad-based question beyond the earnings. As far as the upcoming union budget is concerned, sir, what exactly would you, as a wealth management company, expect from the upcoming budget? What is your own sense with respect to mutual funds as well, since this space has been, seeing some taxation changes within the budgets in the prior times as well? How would you really expect things to be forayed into within this time?
See, what we expect from a budget that it should be friendly for the equity markets. And what is friendly for equity markets? Basically, if you have, a lower fiscal deficit, lower inflation expectation, lower interest rates, likely lower interest rates, all these things really create a very, very good, base for the equity markets. Otherwise, also, if you look at the various asset classes today in India, the attractive asset class is only equity. Real estate used to be the darling of investors many years back. Today, that position is not there in real estate. Gold is very limited investment, people do. So I think long term, the larger amount of money will flow into the equity market and also through the mutual funds. Because I think, our still contribution of mutual funds, total mutual funds are very small compared to our total GDP. In countries like US, it's more than 100%. We're still at about 10%. So I think there is a long way to go. I see if the budget is not, having any negative effect, which I don't expect, because, the way our incomes, the revenues of the government are increasing, both through GST and the income tax. I think the investment on infrastructure would only increase in the budget, even compared to the provisional budget which is given. And I'm sure, now 2 lakh crores coming from RBI, the taxes revenue going up. The even fiscal deficit, I expect, may be lower than 5.1%, which was in the provisional. It might be somewhere about 4.8, 4.9%, in my expectation. And that will really, again, be positive for the equity markets.
Right. Anandji, in terms of physical and geographical expansion of Anand Rathi Wealth, you are present in 17 major cities and of course inorganic growth. For the next 1 year or so, how much do you want to physically expand into HNI hotspots across India? And is there or are there any acquisitions planned to further increase this growth that you are seeing in profit and sales?
Yes, as far as physical presence is concerned, as Rakesh said, we already identified 6, 7 new locations where we have just done the test sort of marketing, but we'll make it large. Our whole idea is that in next 3 to 5 years, we should be able to go to all major towns, even 2-tier towns of the country, because the wealth is there in every small, even 2-tier town. So I think our physical presence will keep on increasing as our number of AMs. We are increasing our relationship managers by 15% to 20% year on year. And we'll therefore looking for growing into the other 2-tier cities this year, as well as every year we'll locate a few more locations. Our idea is we basically want to move people from our existing teams to the new locations, so that the philosophy of which you have developed over the period of time is really maintained across the country. The standard should not go down if you go to the smaller towns. So I think that's our strategy. And the second part of the question, what was that, Mr. Bhattacharya?
So I was asking if there are any inorganic acquisitions
yes,
in the pipeline.
No, yes, we are looking, obviously, scouting for acquisitions of smaller outfits. And as you know, we have done acquisition there past, the Religare outfit. But we want to be very careful, because whenever we acquire, we want to get that people who are really comfortable with the philosophy which we have, because bringing new people and bringing them to our philosophy is a quite time-consuming process. And therefore, we are looking for acquisitions, but very carefully.
Absolutely. Okay, Anand ji, and this is our last question for you. We are in a Goldilocks kind of a scenario. कुछ भी दोपहर को खरीद लीजिए, अगली सुबह 4-5%, 10%, 20% बढ़ा हुआ मिलता है. कोई भी म्यूचुअल फंड खरीद लीजिए, उसमें आपको 15, 17, 18% रिटर्न क्वार्टरली आ रहा है. क्योंकि आपने हम सबसे ज़्यादा बाज़ार देखा है और तजुर्बा आपका हम सबसे ज़्यादा है मिलाकर भी, मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ, आप आने वाले जो निवेशक हैं आपके यहाँ जो आते हैं खुली चेकबुक लेके कि भाई जल्दी से इसमें अमाउंट भरिए और काम शुरू कीजिए और ये पैसा डबल कर दीजिए 6 महीने में, आप उनको क्या राय देते हैं? और क्या ये जो तेज़ी हम देख रहे हैं ये चलती रहेगी निरंतर?
अब ठीक है ना, हमारे पास जो भी क्लाइंट अगर ये आता है भाई 6 महीने में डबल कर दें, तो हम कहते हैं भाई हमारे पास वो जादू की छड़ी है नहीं तो डबल कर सकता है. हम तो पहले ही कहते हैं 3 से 5 साल से कम नजरिया है तो आप वेल्थ मैनेजमेंट प्रोसेस में मत जाइए, क्योंकि फिर जो है आपको यू माइट बी डिसअपॉइंटेड. तो इसलिए हमारे मानने, और HNI जब धीरे धीरे हम ये देख रहे हैं कि HNI को विश्वास होने लगा कि भाई लॉन्ग टर्म जाने में फायदा है, रोज की उठक पटक करने में फायदा नहीं है. टाइमिंग ऑफ द मार्केट लोगों ने बहुत ट्राई किया पर दे हैव नॉट बीन सक्सेसफुल. और हम लोग तो हमारी प्रैक्टिस में भी जब क्लाइंट आता तो हम पहले उसने पास की क्या उसका रहा है रेवेन्यू जनरेशन, रिटर्न, वो हम देखते हैं. और हमने देखा कि उनका रिटर्न अगर हमारे से हम जो ज्यादा दे सकते तो हम कहते भी है कि भाई साहब आप हमारे से ज्यादा अच्छे लगते हैं, आप अपना कीजिए. और इन प्रैक्टिस में हमको 2-3-4% लोग भी ऐसे मिलते हैं हु हैव बीटन अवर रिटर्न रिकॉर्ड. तो जनरली ये देखा जाता है कि भी अच्छे लोग जो देखिए HNI ऑल्सो हैव सम अदर बिजनेस, दूसरे कामकाज में है. और लोगों ने देखा कि अगर आपका कंसंट्रेशन अननेसेसरी अगर आप वहाँ जाते हैं तो आपका ध्यान और कहीं जाता है. हमारे यहाँ बहुत एक तरह से इन्वेस्टमेंट फिलोसफी बड़ी क्लियर है, उसमें लोग आते हैं. और अभी तो इतना एक्सपीरियंस लोगों को हो गया है कि एक्चुअली हमारे क्लाइंट्स हैं वही हमारे मार्केटिंग मैनेजर्स आजकल, वही नए नए क्लाइंट्स हमको ला के देते रहते हैं.
जी जी बिल्कुल. आनंद जी एंड राकेश जी, बहुत बहुत आपका आभार हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. और ये जो शानदार प्रगति की सीढ़ी आनंद राठी वेल्थ चढ़ता हुआ दिख रहा है प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स, रेवेन्यू में और खासकर स्टॉक प्राइसेस में, ये निरंतर चलती रहे. आप सबको हमारी शुभकामनाएं. और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि अगले क्वार्टर फिर आपको जो साक्षी ने भविष्यवाणी करी है 1 लाख करोड़ की, वो जल्दी होती हुई दिखेगी एसेट्स अंडर मैनेजमेंट. धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद साक्षी.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
धन्यवाद टू बिजनेस.
Thank you so much, sir. With that, viewers, we wrap up this extremely special conversation with Anand Rathi Group's top management. You heard from the management on what is working for them for having them to give consistent growth quarter on quarter, the promising outlook that they have, and of course the budget expectations and stock markets expectations from here on as well. With that, it's a goodbye from me and Shell on this special edition. But don't go anywhere. Business Today Television has an action-packed day right ahead for you. At 12 noon, I'll be back for the daily calls that will address all your stock-related queries. Again, the stock markets have hit a new record in trade today, and we've seen 24,500 again on the Nifty. And we will see how the stock market experts are navigating through this record high move. So stay tuned. A lot more coming up right up next. Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and this is a special show on